Hi. Greetings from Singapore. What's up? Let's talk about some of these environments that I've got set up for this. And by that I mean the environment that's set up for this. We have, how many chunks do we have? We have 8 chunks now, and each one of them is integrated with a few traps and hunter generators, and there's some lights and things like that that are built into it, and you probably won't see them too strongly until later on as we do this test, because the time scale right here is going to change the day to night and then back to day again. So the first thing I'm going to do is press play, and we see that the game actually starts with this sort of rumbling cage thing. As you can see, I've turned the time scale way up so that you can see the change of day to night. But with a press of the dash button, we escape. And this intro segment is to give people a chance to see the jumping, the dashing mechanics. And already the levels are being automatically generated for us. There's a hunter. We don't have fire on that trap yet, but it pops down. Looks like we've repeated this chunk, which is fine. But we will slowly see different chunks as time goes on. Oops. Oh, no. Well, that's not supposed to happen, I'll tell you that right now. There are a few of these environments where I'll have to rearrange where the hunter is in order to ensure that he doesn't get stuck. But they do have a couple of systems in place to ensure that they don't get stuck, even if the player dashes in midair and doesn't create a jump volume for them to activate with. So now that it's starting to turn to night, we've got a little bit more lighting coming from the environment, like the trucks and the garages, that sort of thing. And I don't yet have anything in place that shows where the traps are. So we need to. I was thinking about just doing a little tiny HUD thing that pops up. Oh, I didn't activate that mixer trap. Oh well. There's also going to have to be some kind of limitation in how much you can dash, because you can dash a lot right now. But let's see. Have we shown off? There's the tower trap. There's the cement mixer trap right there. I'm trying to show off all the traps as we go along so that everybody can see the way that this game sort of works. For right now, the Hunter and Jacob look pretty much the same. Hunters are little brown-coated guys, and Jacob is not. And they do slowly catch up. They will jump wherever he jumps. And there are a few traps that need some kind of VFX, like that oil I'd like to see being on fire. There was a couple of traps like this one that would slow the enemy down. But if the enemy is too far behind Jacob, it actually takes longer for a new one to appear. So now I've just set it up in such a way that they should just pop up wherever is most helpful. Most helpful for the game to be able to recreate them. Some of these traps are animated, others aren't. It doesn't make sense, I don't think, to animate a barrel or a tower to illustrate that it's a trap. Those things do rattle until you pop them open, which is kind of nice. But as you can see, because I can just dash, right now I don't have anything to inhibit the level of dashing. There's really no way for me to lose yet. But if I was to say, okay, now I've only got 2 dashes, and I can only use them... You should jump over that. He can only use them a certain amount of times until he gets some kind of item or something that causes him to refill. I was just thinking about having them refill slowly over time. But each of these little areas, anywhere where the hunter has had the capacity in the past to get trapped, I have little jump volumes that should make the hunters jump. But I think possibly the prefabs haven't been updated quite yet. So just causing them to get bundled up in the tower, I think is one of the only ways that you can slow them down for right now. I've taken off all the other stuff. Oh, I should have probably activated that guy. That's a trap too. Some of these towers aren't traps, but these ones that are tall usually are. And there just has to be something in the HUD to indicate jump now, or dash now, or yeah, just dash, I guess. But even if the hunter gets too far behind, the level will despawn under him, and if he falls below the level, it will just cause the game to restart. The only way that we're keeping track, by the way, of how far along we're going is because of these cages. After we animate the cat, I always talk in terms of we. I know you guys don't do that. Oh, no, I'm dead. I know you guys don't do that, but it's a streamer thing. I always talk about we as if we're all working together on this. So, yeah, that's pretty much what it comes down to, is the only mechanic right now that's causing me to have no problem at all is just the fact that I can dash forever. But as we pop the cat cages open, it will give more of a count of how far along you've gone. So even though Jacob can't really escape from this sort of pseudo-military region because it's an infinite runner, he can have a high score of being able to keep popping his friends out of the cat cages as time goes on. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I think we've gone through all of the stages, and we haven't really had a whole lot of repeat areas. But when they do pop up, it's pretty seamless. It doesn't feel like... Oh, that's not a real one. It doesn't feel like a problem. He didn't have the chutzpah to jump all the way up there. But yeah, his jump and my jump should be more or less the same. He does go a little bit faster than me, but sometimes it feels like the hunter doesn't quite jump at the same speed forward as the player does. But anyways, yeah, that's what we've got. All of my models integrated into it, except for one. I never figured out a place to put a dog treat. I thought about maybe having a crate explode and have them be full of them, but yeah, until we animate the characters, I don't really see creating the extra traps as a priority for right now. But anyways, that's where I'm at. Each of these chunks is a prefab. They're made up of prefabs. We have some light prefabs, trap prefabs, many objects in here. Some of them have lights built into them. And then we have some animated models here to give a little bit more life to the game. Now there was, originally I had a script for generating artificial parallax, but based on the distance into the background, it doesn't feel 100% necessary. I could use it, but one of the problems would be that if these trees in the background back here actually moved forward a little bit, it would create more distance, a feeling of more distance, but they would drift off into the next prefab. So I'm not sure if that makes sense to do that or not. But anyways, Yeah, I have quite a few scripts designed to set everything in place here. And a lot of these have been de-used, no longer in the current game, but they're there, so if I ever needed them I could use them. And yeah, that's it. I mean, there doesn't need to be extra scenes. The game is all included in a single scene. The only thing that needs to take place is UI stuff and front end stuff, and other than that, it's pretty good. I would like eventually to, if I have time, to do more immersive lighting. But I found out a couple of days ago that if you want to switch over to baked global illumination, that does not go well for you. So I'll just have to worry about it later. But anyways, all right. Well, I hope that was fulfilling for you. It definitely took a long time for me. Yeah, I guess I'll just keep up on Discord and keep in touch with you guys. And if you have, by the way, if you have any comments on this, just put it in a comment on the YouTube page, and it will help me to get a sense of what I need to change, if anything feels out of place or something, you have suggestions or any of that kind of stuff. If you put a comment into YouTube, I will see it and I will implement it. So anyways, all right, I'll see you on Discord. Bye guys.